This episode of Three Best Friends is full of Avengers Infinity War spoilers. If you haven't seen the film yet, stop listening now. Seriously, I drop a huge-ass spoiler in like the first 30 seconds. You've been warned. Now, on to the show. Welcome to a special episode of Three Best Friends, a weekly show where three best friends hang out to talk games, music, movies, and more. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Towndrow. Tonight, I'm joined by Matthew Wright.
What's up?
Jacob Palmer.
I'm so excited.
And our very special guest, Trevor Starkey.
Hey there, internet friends. Honored to be here.
Woo!
Thanks for coming, dude.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So, today's show is going to be a bit different. We're talking full spoilers for Infinity War. If you didn't listen to my pre-recorded warning, this is your final chance because I don't want to waste any more time. So spoilers in 3, 2, 1. All hail Red Skull. Our baby is back.
Oh my god. He's
Admittedly,
back.
that was the very first thing I looked at as the credits were rolling was like, there's no way they got Hugo Weaving back.
Right.
That
Yeah, I
definitely
noticed that
wasn't
too.
him.
No. So do you know who that is?
I mean, I looked up the name. I definitely don't know the guy.
He's in Walking Dead.
Is he?
He's
Okay.
like kind of like internet famous for impressions and stuff, even though he didn't really sound like Hugo Weaving. But
Yeah, I was just like,
Hugo Weaving is notoriously said he's never going to do a Marvel movie again. So
yeah,
as
no,
soon
he's
as,
like completely
as soon
fucking
as
done.
Red Skull pops up, I'm like, nope, not him. So I'm
No.
gonna
Yeah, no
keep
way.
an eagle eye on the credits for to see there's no way they got it back.
and sure enough, there was not.
Nope.
no. And he was CG, right? Like he looked
I mean,
very
he definitely
good.
felt like CG. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that subject, all the CG looked pretty damn good. There was only one moment with Banner in the Hulkbuster that was like a little sketchy, but
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of a lot of the Children of Thanos, their designs. I felt like they didn't get enough time in the oven.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was really good. Like, Thanos is
yeah,
wonderfully realized.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
yeah, seriously, and yeah, no, just like overall, shout out to Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Ugh.
He was
Amazing.
fucking phenomenal in this.
Like, I didn't think I was gonna. I knew I was gonna like Thanos because I just wanted to see him as this huge Titan ass kicking villain, and that's all I thought we were gonna get out of him. And then he's more than a one-dimensional character. Like, what? You actually start feeling for this guy?
Yeah, you actually give a shit about him?
Right. Like, I think this is like maybe the second villain where I felt this way. Killmonger was the last one I, cared about. And then all the other villains were like, okay, they're good. But I feel like these two villains were like, they were up there.
Killmonger and even Baron Zemo, for me, still, rank a little bit higher than Thanos, but admittedly, I recognize I've only seen really half of Thanos' arc here.
Right.
So that could certainly change, but in their respective movies, I just found myself kind of identifying with them and their personal... because theirs is a much more personal kind of vendetta and mission as opposed to Thanos's, which is still just a little too ethereal for my taste. And yeah, we get a little bit of his personal kind of history and especially his relationship with Gamora. But the fact that he just kind of wants to indiscriminately take out half of the world or all worlds was like, that seems a little like, why half? Why arbitrarily half of people?
Right.
You're just kind of mean.
Yeah.
Man, he just wants to chill and watch the sunset, though.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, I feel like you could do that without taking out billions of people, but,
Yeah, but it's way quieter.
I was legit laughing the first time I saw this because I'm like, this is how we're ending it. He's looking out at the sunset as if he's a hero.
Well,
and
so-
you just see how
To be fair, the
twisted he
comic
to-
ends that like that.
To prepare for the movie, I read the original Infinity Gauntlet book last month, and it's not the same ending because of different events and everything, and actually the whole thing's resolved by that point, but he is living on a farm at the end of that book.
Huh.
Happy.
Yeah. I mean, comic books, man. And if it didn't end like that, probably people would have been pissed about it.
I mean, he did what he set out to do, so
Yeah.
time to enjoy the retired
Yeah.
life.
I get it.
Yeah, going back to the villains thing, I do think the MCU progressively as we go on, at least lately, the villains are getting way stronger with like Vulture, Zemo, Killmonger. Even to me, Hela was really strong.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why I'm excited for. I forgot who Ant-Man's the villain in Ant-Man is coming up, but at
Is
least
it,
he looks fucking rad.
Is it Lawrence Fishburne?
I believe so. Yeah, I don't know.
Lawrence
the character.
Fishburne's in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
the actual character. Okay.
I
have
don't
no
know
idea.
the character. All I remember is like I think he like you see him in the trailer like his hands are phasing or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like a chromed out Power Ranger. It looks kind of rad. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even know where to begin because there's just so much.
Right. That's what I was going to
Good
ask. Like,
stuff in
how
this
do you
movie.
begin with this? Because, like, right as the movie starts, someone dies.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about the stakes. Like right away, this sets up the stakes that it felt like a fucking Game of Thrones episode.
Yeah. Like right off the bat, like Heimdall just gets stabbed. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gutted. And then once Loki dies, I felt horrible because I actually love Loki. I forget that he's like one of those villains I truly love, but he's like hit and miss. He's like he's good here, he's bad here. Like you never know what he's doing because he's the god of mischief, of course.
Oh yeah,
But just to see him, and when Thanos says there is no resurrection for him, I'm like thinking, oh, are we not going to be able to bring him back?
yeah. I mean, we'll talk about this later, but I think the characters that we see die before the whole, I call it the dusting.
Yeah.
Before the dusting, I think they're actually dead.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that later because that brings up another character later.
Yeah,
But also that beginning scene, just to show how much of brute strength Thanos has, even before having all these Infinity Stones. He took Hulk out like it was nothing.
Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely do a great job setting him up as an immediate imposing threat, like, especially which I feel like you needed to do because he's been teased since 2012,
Yeah.
and we've never seen him do anything. So the fact that immediately, like, you come in and he's already destroyed half of Thor's ship, as we find out later, to leave, I guess, the potential open for the Thor Ragnarok sequel. And Valkyrie and Korg having just been written off of the out of the universe here. But yeah, and then we see him. So we see him take out Loki, Heimdall, and then like scare Hulk out of the rest of the movie, basically.
Yeah.
how'd you guys feel about that?
I loved it because this
okay.
actually it shows more for Hulk's side, but at the same time, it actually keeps him away from like the beginning because they're not going to be able to do like the whole fight thing. Like you can only see Hulk get beat up so many times before he just rages out and becomes too powerful in the end.
Right.
So-
I do like that it kind of plays off the whole Ragnarok thing where Banner's like, oh, Banner could be useful also. And he was.
But it also shows like more emotion through Hulk too. Like he just got his butt kicked. He's never had that happen before.
Right,
So
yeah.
now
He's actually scared. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love especially how it ties into like Marvel's increasing deception in their marketing, because you have
Yes.
that iconic shot from the trailers of like everybody kind of running through Wakanda, including the Hulk, and so the fact that something like that isn't in this movie makes me wonder: A, if it was originally, but B, if it wasn't, then and they cut it out. You know, the fact that they're still selling that idea. Like plays with your expectations. It's like, okay, well, I don't know if half of the things we see in that trailer end up not making it into the movie. So it's interesting to see kind of like, because I just kept waiting for that, and so when instead Thor comes like bursting back to the scene at the end, I was like, oh, this is way cooler. Yes, let's keep it.
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad.
God, I wanted Zeppelin so badly.
It really should have happened, but at the same time, I'm okay with it not happening.
Oh, no, me
Like-
too.
Like,
It was a way more serious tone, so
Oh,
it
yeah.
makes
Like
sense.
the
But-
end
but
credits.
still.
Totally serious.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we lose Heimdall, we lose Loki right in the beginning. I do love that it's just a straight up, like, probably 5 minutes after the end of Ragnarok.
yeah.
That ends so, like, hopeful and stuff. I do hope Meeks and Korg are okay. I hope they're safe. I hope they're hiding in the closet somewhere, just, like, chilling out.
They were part of the other half that survived.
God, I hope so. Hopefully, rock people are impervious to that.
I mean, like, I'm definitely curious how logistically that happened. Like, did they get sent off in escape pods before we see this? Because the ship blows up, so...
Right.
So,
Oh, the ship is fucked. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, after that scene, it goes back to Hulk flying through Strange's place. We had that scene. How did you feel about how did you feel about like Tony like going into this like head on? Like, I feel like
I think it just shows that he still wants to be Iron Man. Like, he can't let go of it. He's still a hero, like, no matter what. I mean, he was just talking about having a kid fucking 5 minutes ago.
exactly. Like,
He's still willing to lay down his life. And kudos to them again. I thought that was the setup where Iron Man's going to die in this movie.
I also see him like evolving. Like you think about him from like Iron Man 1 going up till now. It's like he almost seems like really different compared from like Civil War till now. Like,
Yeah, he grew up.
yeah, exactly. And now he's like, now it's time to grow up and take care of business. And I really like this version of Tony Stark.
Well, it reminds me a lot of like post Iron Man 3 Tony. Like that Tony's still there. Like, he's still shook from, and he mentioned it in this movie, from the first Avengers. He was shook from all that happening, and so I feel like his motivation during this was like he finally knows who was responsible, and so like he's scared as fuck like when he gets on the spaceship and stuff, but he knows like he needs to go after him or he's never going to be able to rest. And more importantly, Pepper is never, like, his life is never going to resume with her.
Yeah, no. I do love, speaking of that, and it's jumping around a little bit, but I love that Thanos knows who Stark is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, because you also have Captain America basically saying Earth just lost its like mightiest Avenger, so I'm here to basically like fill in for their time or whatever when he kind of comes back into the fold. So like, I think that definitely kind of, even in this universe, like they've kind of proposed and pitched that Tony Stark and Iron Man is like the best of them, so yeah, I think that's what we see is that like he's the best of them because he's willing to put Earth now ahead of kind of even his own personal happiness in life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that when he gets he like chases Ebony Maw up into space to get Doctor Strange back. When Peter follows him, he gets genuinely pissed off that Peter is like following in his footsteps, like an angry father. Like, no, do not follow me. Don't go down this path.
Technically, this was your fault. What did you just say?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Dude, this movie is so fucking funny. Also,
Yeah, that was the thing. Like, I found like you find it strange at first, but it's like it actually helped. How it can go from like a dark scene to like you're laughing 2 seconds later, and then back to like dark. It's like this is what DC needs to be. Like this
DC
movie
just
is
needs to be rewritten.
Yeah.
yeah,
This
seriously.
movie is bright and colorful and beautiful, but at the same time dark and scary. Like, it still looks like a Marvel movie when you're looking at the picture-wise, like the visuals. Mm-hmm. But story-wise and acting-wise, everything all together, this was like a dark, dark story. Like, this was a scary time.
I was incredibly tense the entire time, even though I was laughing, but it was like nervous laughter.
Yeah. I'm like, oh god, one of you can die.
Going back to when Hulk crashes, I do like that that's a callback to the comics. I'm sure Matt remembers this because he just read it, but that's originally Silver Surfer crashing through.
Yep. You're right.
Which, goddamn, I wish, but you know, it's okay. Legal rights, we get it, whatever. And then we get the first like real badass fight scene of the movie.
Right.
With Ebony Maw and
one of the best jokes in the movie, like Hulk not getting it up, basically.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say the Squidward thing.
Oh no, that was great too. Yeah.
I was about to say Ebony Maw. I think his name was Squidward.
As soon as Squidward came out, I kept waiting for a Voldemort reference because that's what we've all basically been saying, and so I was mad that never came. Like Tony Stark knows SpongeBob, but not Harry Potter. What?
I was kind of hoping Strange would have said, he's more like Voldemort. Like, that would have been funny, like, them going back and forth. Like,
well, especially because the wizard
cool.
connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if Strange said it, that would have been really
A wizard knows a wizard.
Right.
Out of all the children of Thanos, I like Ebony Maw the best. I thought he was like super badass, like really creepy, calm, cool, collective.
Like, what's this?
He was definitely the most fleshed out. Like, he had the
Oh,
most
yeah.
screen
Oh,
time,
for sure.
talking wise and everything.
him talking, and like even him and Strange like trying to do like different arts against each other. Like, holy crap, this guy is strong. And then just the voice built in with it. He was definitely my favorite out of all of them.
Yeah, and,
Yeah, for sure.
That moment, like after, like once Peter mentions aliens, I'm like, wait, where is he going with this? And then like they have the shot of him standing behind him. It was like the cockpit, and you see space. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna do that.
I do love that they keep like hammering that joke in. Like, I hope in fucking Homecoming 2 we do get like, do you remember that old movie? Whatever.
The Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
like
comment,
the next.
that
I think
Footloose comment was one of the best comments I've ever heard.
It never was.
It never was. And just the look on Quill's
Well,
face.
yeah.
So yeah, we fast forward. We go into space. We got the torture scene, which is like pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they let loose or whatever. And I do like straight from there. Like, this movie doesn't have any room to breathe. Like,
No.
Which is a good thing. I know that sounds kind of negative, but from there we're like, okay, let's go to Titan. Let's take the fight to them. Let's do it.
Well, before any of this, we've already cut to space, and we have the
Right.
Guardians and Thor meeting up. Right.
So on that
Yeah.
point, I
Yeah, that happened before
love
this.
that every time we cut to a character, it feels like a sequel to that character's movie or their franchise.
Right.
Like with Guardians, you see space. It feels like Guardians 3 is about to start.
Well, I think 3 is actually going to be the final movie of Phase 3, Phase 4.
No, the
Phase-
Avengers is the end of phase whatever we're on.
Oh, okay.
I
Is
think
Guardians just the latest announced movie?
Yeah, I don't think Guardians like is officially like announced, but I mean we know James Gunn is working
Well,
on
no,
it.
they have a date for it and everything.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things I wanted to talk about. I don't like that they keep announcing, because like you see this movie, but you already know we're getting Spider-Man: Homecoming 2.
Yeah, we'll get to that later with the whole.
I mean, I remember
deaths
feeling the
thing.
same way about like knowing that Iron Man 3 was coming after Avengers. It's like, well, Tony's going to be coming back, so
Right.
It is.
Yeah,
Which is, I mean, but I think that's why they're also playing so much of the rest of their slate close to the vest.
Right.
which is very smart.
Because they don't want to tip, oh, we're also going to have, they don't want to say, hey, we're finally going to give you a Black Widow movie, because then you'll be like, oh, well, Black Widow's going to survive. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And to their credit, I mean, Guardians is one you can do with, one or a few members gone, but you can't do it with all of them gone, which I thought at this point the only surviving member is Rocket.
Yeah.
And Nebula.
And that's, I mean, so all that said, like, even knowing Guardians and Spider-Man, like, because of that, I was like, okay, like, Peter's going to be safe in this movie. And,
Yeah.
like, we see the Gamora death later, and it's like, well, but most of the Guardians are still alive, and then when just all of them except Rocket are gone, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's definitely going to have to get resolved before we go into those next
Right.
things.
They even took Black Panther
Well,
out. And,
I know, I was
Yeah.
upset about that. I was like, oh shit, you guys actually
That
did
got
that.
the biggest response out of my screening. Was like, everybody was like, oh god.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't even get a second to even think about it too. It's like he's just coming over there. He's like, get up, we can't die here. And then all of a sudden he's gone. I'm like, what?
Yeah, because the
And
camera's
then you
on
get
like
hurt.
Okoye or whoever he's going to pick up, and you just see
Yeah.
his arm starting to disintegrate. It's like, no.
Oh my god.
And then you get hurt by Peter, him talking to Tony. I was like, that.
For me, that was the roughest one.
Like,
Yeah.
there's another movie that did very similar, like the words Peter uses. Like, I don't want to go.
Fucking Doctor Who.
That's
I
it,
don't
yeah.
want to go. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to go yet. That's straight up Doctor Who.
Yeah.
There was another movie that did that too. Leonardo DiCaprio. I don't know if you guys remember. Like, what was it, The Quick and the Dead or something like that with Gene Hackman?
I never
I
saw
have
I
it.
not
never
seen
saw
it.
it.
It's 90s, I think. But he did something similar like that at the end of the movie where he dies. Spoiler alert for this old movie.
The fuck?
But
This really old movie that Peter's eventually going to reference.
But these, to the credit of the movie, though, with all these scenes where everyone are, disappearing or dusting or whatever, it was the perfect balance of heavy-handedness and just quick. So, like, it wasn't if this does get resolved and the people that were dusted come back, like there wasn't these long drawn out goodbyes.
Yeah, I mean the one that weirdly got me the most was Sam, because like he disintegrates.
They did
like,
Sam
and immediately
bad.
after you have Rhodey basically like calling out to him, and it's like he died alone. Like that
he's
sucks.
like,
Yeah. God, all I want to talk about is like the deaths and stuff, but let's keep going in order.
We'll revisit that.
We'll keep revisiting.
But yeah, I
every
mean,
like
like
5 minutes.
So if we go back to like Thor meeting up with the Guardians, that was one of the points where I was like, I love all the matchups and the team ups that we're seeing in this.
They were so well written, and yeah, I wanted to talk about like the actual writing and stuff. Everything is very well executed and smartly written, and I mean, it's obvious that Thor would be with the Guardians, space and whatnot. But even Tony with Strange, with those two arrogant personalities
Very
clashing.
egotistical. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And with Peter being somebody who would look up to Doctor Strange, being somebody who is an actual doctor and went to med school and all that stuff. And then, and the third group, Cap and Black Widow, Sam, War Machine, all that, meeting up with Panther. I absolutely love that.
I love the music that led into each specific meetup too. Like,
Yeah, the score was great.
yeah, I want that. I want that score.
That was probably the most I've actually enjoyed a score from a Marvel movie, other than Black Panther. But
Right.
like almost every other score, like the Avengers theme by this point, just because we're 3 movies in now. But everything else is like, do you know the Guardians theme?
I know there is one.
Yeah,
I know it. I know it when I hear it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because the team ups they do a good job of giving like those the themes. But like if there was like a Captain America music, it's like I don't really know Captain America's song. I feel like they don't really focus on the individuals as much as the big kind of group shots that you get with the team up kind of moments. Those epic camera turns where you can throw music under it, and people are
Right.
gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna remember everything about this, including the score."
Oh, and shout out to Drax for mentioning the dance off.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh, my God.
That whole like the Chris Pratt or the Star-Lord getting like so immediately like thrown and
Offended.
like offended by Thor, like, and everybody's like reaction to Thor.
Was wonderful.
Stop caressing his muscles.
And Thor constantly calling Rocket Rabbit.
Oh,
Not
that
get
was
old.
amazing. I thought Rocket would have said something, and he just lets it go. Like,
Well, for the longest time, he didn't know what a raccoon was.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, so he doesn't know what a rabbit is.
yeah,
He probably imagines Rabbit is at least a step up from Trash Panda.
that's true.
So I think after this, we flash back to Earth with Vision and Scarlet Witch, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we did.
to check in with them. Lovebirds.
So, what do you think about those two? Like their relationship? Like,
I think it's fine.
yeah,
Because this movie is picking up from like 5 different threads from like the ends of other movies.
Right.
So time has passed for like the Guardians and everybody from Civil War and stuff. So we're seeing kind of how that has affected these people. So I love that like we only get little doses of that, but it's enough to fill in what's been going on with people.
Right.
So,
I'm glad there wasn't a lot of exposition trying to explain it.
yeah, and it actually did seem like they were in love with each other. So, and that's pretty cool to just pick up like that compared
Yeah.
to where we left off in like Civil War.
And like
Right.
the seeds for that had been planted
Right.
in a way that like when in Age of Ultron the Black Widow and Banner thing kind of came out of nowhere. People were like, "What is this?"
Yeah, that was a
but
little weird.
This at least we got like hints of Vision and Scarlet Witch together to kind of support instead of just being like, "Oh well, they're in the comics, so of course they're going to end up together." We at least got like teases of that
Yeah.
prior to this. So it felt like a payoff instead of like this is out of nowhere. So
Right,
we
and
have-
actually, speaking to that, there was only the one moment with Black Widow and Banner, and
Right.
then like the rest of the time there isn't anything between them. So it's like, she pissed at him, or she's just done with him.
yeah.
I mean, she smiled and that was it. It's
Yeah.
like,
Well, when,
I
when
guess-
Sam's like, "Well, this is awkward," I was like, "Oh no, Sam and Black Widow didn't get together, did they?" And then they don't go anywhere with it. So I was like, "Okay, I'm going to assume that was just a general awkwardness of the
Yeah.
situation."
I think it was just a quick thing that they needed to address.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
and
true.
the fact that they like we don't see more. I feel like this is another one of those things that I feel like we got more of, or we got like hints of in the trailers, like the two of them seeing each other. And I like, because I feel like in the trailers there's shots of Banner working on Hulkbuster and stuff like that. So the fact that like we only get this, it's like, okay, I want more, but I also recognize that like, oh, like the world's ending, so we don't really need to devote time to the drama of them catching up.
Yeah.
We might get it in the next movie too. So.
I'm also wondering
Yeah,
if there's
very
a
true.
director's cut of this.
Oh yeah,
I'm
certainly.
sure there is.
But yeah,
You have to
and
imagine,
I mean,
like, how big
even that's
that
another thing.
screenplay
Like,
is.
I love how like Banner's like, there's a Spider-Man and an Ant-Man, like because he's been out of the loop, and so they have to catch him up on stuff.
Then Stark's reaction to Mantis and Drax when they mess up the
Oh
line.
my god.
Just like 10 seconds of Stark just looking.
I do love that. They just linger on that look for way too long. It's so great.
I loved when Chris Pratt was describing Thor, and he's like, "Yeah, not that good looking." And then Tom Holland, just the look that he gave him was like, "What are you talking about?"
Going back to Ant-Man really quick, and that scene where they're like just talking about being an Ant-Man and Spider-Man and stuff. How do you guys feel about the whole house arrest excuse for Ant-Man and Hawkeye?
I mean, I feel like they did it just because
It's
I
already
feel like-
bloated.
that, and also Ant-Man movies coming out, so they're probably not going to want to do anything.
Well, the Ant-Man movie is probably taking place before
Yeah,
think it is.
I think it's
Yeah, I
right
gotta
after
imagine.
Civil War.
But I feel like with the Ant-Man movie, like a post-credit scene, they're gonna see what happened. Like, I think they're gonna show something like happening after everyone like turns to ash. Like,
Right,
Yeah,
and that's the next part. Like,
Yeah.
are they safe? Like, or have they been dusted too?
Oh yeah, like my prediction for like the Ant-Man and the Wasp post-credit scene is like everything the movie is like prior, and we might even see kind of Hawkeye in that movie and like teaming up with Scott or something in
Right.
there.
I would love
to
that.
kind of explain him off. But I think the post-credit scene is going to be kind of fast-forwarding to like how the events of this are affecting the rest of the world, and we're going to see Scott disappear or something like that in front of the Wasp. And boom, there's like their new reality kind of moving forward as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't bother me. Because especially I was one of the people who was like, Hawkeye, all he wanted to do was retire. So like, let him go be retired
Right.
with his family. So it didn't bother me that he wasn't in the movie. But I imagine, given that all of the other original Avengers survived this, I think he will as well, and he'll come back and play some kind of significant role in the second movie.
Yeah.
To kind of in the same way that like he was such a non-role in the first movie, but then had like such
he
kind of build up in
headlined
the second
one. Yeah.
I think he's basically
Yeah.
a sine wave in the Avengers movie.
She's up and down.
Yeah.
To play devil's advocate, yeah, I think like them being on house arrest, they would just be like, screw house arrest, let's go help everybody out. But at the same time, nothing's really happening in the United States, so the U.S. government doesn't know what's really happening other than the attack in the beginning. But other than that, it's mostly in space and in Wakanda, so they don't know what the hell's going on until the dusting happens.
Yeah, even in
So-
that the post credits scene there with
Right.
Nick Fury, like they're only just finding out that
Yeah.
stuff's going on in Wakanda before everybody starts disappearing. So,
Right.
I mean, we'll get to it later, but what a
Like,
terrifying post-credit scene.
oh god,
What?
yeah, it all happened so fast.
and yeah,
I mean, half of the world just disappeared. There are definitely going to be consequences to
And
that.
like, not to get real, but being a New Yorker, it gave me like 9/11 vibes.
Yeah.
I was actually, I didn't want to make this comment, but so after I saw the movie, I got in my car. I didn't go on my phone. I didn't even turn on music as I was driving. Like, I didn't know how to feel about the movie. Like, I was just beside myself. But I was driving. I needed to get food, and it was either a vanity plate or something. But on the back of someone's Jeep was the license plate 9-11-01. I was like, oh fuck! Like, I don't want to liken this to that, but fuck.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a negative thing or anything. I think it
No,
it shows how much fucking weight it expresses.
Yeah. I like the immediate thing I thought of afterwards, and this is just a sense of how terrible of a person I am, is now I want to like get a whole bunch of friends together and go like book half of a theater where we all go see this together, and we all just like sneak out at the end of the movie or before the end of the movie, so like everybody who's not with us just looks up and, oh god, half the people here are gone too.
I just like bring sand with you and just put sand in your seats.
Yeah. Pour a cup of sand into every chair.
So yeah, there's the fight scene with Scarlet Witch and Vision gets royally fucked up like right away. That him getting stabbed in the chest scared the hell out of me. I didn't expect it. I thought this was going to be a period where we kind of like slow the brakes a little bit, and they're going to be like, all right, we have to go to New York or whatever. But nope, right away, just getting stabbed in the goddamn chest and being mortally fucking wounded, which is like the first time he got that really messed up.
Right, and they never really explained away why he was being mortally wounded by their weapons.
We'll get to that later as part of Mike's conspiracy theory block. But I think
it's not even a corner; it's a full-on block.
There's many paragraphs. I think we'll get kind of an explanation in that in Captain Marvel, maybe. We'll see. It's a stretch, but yeah, no, I thought like that was gonna be a scene where we'd be like, all right, let's go back to New York, and we're just gonna leave, and that was gonna be our moment to breathe. But I thought that fight scene was really cool, and the fucking Captain America reveal is so badass.
Oh my god!
Just seeing him, the subway silhouette is so cool.
It's like you know it's gonna happen because we've seen the trailer and he's there,
yeah.
But it's still such a badass moment of him just standing there and then catching that spear. Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna be sad when Captain America's done, but at the same time, like he's like one of my favorites. Like his first movie might not be like the greatest, but I think he's had
depending
like,
on who
the
you talk to,
strongest.
but
Right, I think he's had the strongest showing for all three movies. Like just to see where he's gone from the first one all the way till now. The only thing I wished I got more out of this was more Captain America out of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're definitely gonna have more Cap in the second one.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I feel like this was very much like it's obvious that they've kind of built their whole universe around the pillars of Iron Man and Captain America, and I think we got more Iron Man on this side of things, and I think a lot of us were expecting Cap to kind of eat it there at the end by Thanos.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he didn't, I think, we're going to get more of Cap in the second one, and then I mean, it's still anybody's game in terms of like who is ultimately going to be like end up on the dead pile. But I think they're still both like incredible candidates for it.
And like because Stark and Mantis are not Mantis. Who else is anyone with Stark?
Nebula.
Yeah,
it's Stark and Nebula. They're the only two.
Nebula. Right, so they're gonna have to take the Guardian ship to get out of there. But if part of me feels like one, I was surprised they actually did do that. The whole snap the fingers and then half the universe was gone thing. I didn't actually know if they were going to do that in the movies. But the other half of me is like, okay, so part one is this huge, robust, huge cast of people, tons of callbacks and all that stuff. And the second one, they've culled it down now to like there's 7 people that can really fight against Thanos now. Where like it's going to be a much more tight-knit movie.
Speaking of Iron Man, I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't commit to killing him off.
I was so ready. Like
I was ready.
I was welling up. I'm like, oh fuck, they're actually going to do it, and then they didn't.
But at the same time, we do need the resolution of him and Cap getting back together and like just clearing
we
the
need
air.
that resolution.
Yeah.
And I feel like we'll probably get the closure in the next one.
Oh yeah.
Of which I feel like Hulk is going to come out in the last, arc of the part 2 and just fuck shit up.
Maybe that's how Tony dies. Like Tony dies through Thanos, and then Hulk. Maybe that brings up Hulk. You never know.
I mean, I think it's very possible we end up seeing Cap and Tony both kind of sacrifice themselves for some kind of greater good, whether that's bringing people back from the dead somehow or something like that. But I definitely think they needed to both survive this so that they can both have big, crazy moments in the next one.
Yeah.
Right.
As opposed to one of them going out here and being more of a catalyst for the next one. I think with half of the team gone, that's enough of a catalyst.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm saving my thoughts for Mike's conspiracy theory corner because that addresses it.
And I imagine this is part of that too, but the fact that like Strange basically like ensured that Tony had to be alive
Yes.
would suggest that he
Right.
is crucial to that one
Yeah.
scenario where they did win.
Right.
Right, yeah, because his final words were like, "This was the only way." So it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so Strange
Yeah.
did what he had to get that one scenario playing.
I do love that Strange is like kind of the main character in this movie to some
A little
extent.
bit. Strange felt like the leader.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he was the one telling Tony, like, "I will not hesitate to let you die, and this kid die."
Like, Strange definitely had the background to kind of set that up for everybody. So him being in the know most probably kind of led other people to defer to him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Tony.
Like, and the same thing with Gamora having the relationship with Thanos. Like, so she knew a lot about Thanos to like be somewhat prominent until her death. But
Yeah.
So what did you guys think about that? Like that relationship between Thanos and Gamora? Like,
I loved.
I loved it.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I thought it was I was scared like when she started laughing and she's like, "You don't love anything." And I'm like, "No." Like in a weird sadistic way, he loved you. And
Yeah, he's
that's when you knew.
he's enough of a psychopath to believe that that was true love. That what he was doing for her.
exactly.
Like him
Exactly.
kidnapping her as a child was love, which is fucking terrifying.
Right. And like, so you see him, like, he's like holding out that knife, that blade, having her balance it, and then turning her head away so she doesn't see the mass murders that's going to happen. I'm like, that's not love, you idiot. But to him, it is.
The Collector. He was hard death number 3.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, is he? Yeah, he's definitely dead.
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
Everywhere I know where is dead.
Well, I mean, he could be out there. Like, he's not. He wasn't shown definitely dead.
Right, but you just like once the reveal of the reality and like almost all of nowhere is just on fire. It's like, I'm assuming, of course, that he's dead and probably Astro is dead as well when that cameo happened. But
So, props to Benicio del Toro for still acting out as the Collector, even as Thanos' vision through the Reality Stone, as he's waving goodbye as he's getting wiped away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who else is dead thanks to the decimation of nowhere? I'm going to interject with Kyle Stevenson. Kyle informed me of the Arrested Development Easter egg.
Yeah.
right, I saw that in the
Oh, yeah,
credits,
yeah, yeah.
but I didn't actually
So-
know what it was in the movie.
Same. I saw the thing in the credits. So I immediately looked it up online when I got home. I was like, "What was that? What did I miss?"
So, Tobias is part of the Collector's collection in full blue as a Never Nude, and he's in the background.
Oh my god, I can't believe I missed that.
It's definitely something I'm going to specifically look for the next time.
I'm seeing it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
So, Tobias is added to the list of deaths.
Jesus.
So many deaths.
I hope he comes back in part 4.
He is Adam Warlock.
Oh, God.
Now, wouldn't it be great if we saw Howard the Duck in part 2?
Oh, my God. He somehow escaped.
Yeah,
He's just hanging out on Thanos' little farm, like he's just having cocktails.
Well, he wasn't in nowhere.
the new class of Avengers is Astro, Howard the Duck, and Tobias.
Yeah, maybe he joins the Guardians next time.
Yeah.
The new Guardians. Like, Nebula's like, all right, let's go find out anybody else I know.
I was really hoping we were going to get, like, even an introduction to, like, Nova, but I don't think it's even going to happen for the second one, unfortunately.
No.
Yeah, I feel like
just
that's-
because
I mean-
they mentioned that place got destroyed.
Let's talk about Adam Warlock for a second. Do we get him in the next movie?
I don't think we do.
Okay.
I don't think so, because I feel like you'd have to establish who he is and why he's important to a mainstream audience, and I don't think you can do
Yes.
that with everything else that's going on.
Yeah,
Okay,
in the
I agree.
MCU, I don't think they're going to link that together as they were in the comics, where him and Thanos worked together in the past.
Yeah. And
It sounds like from the stinger from Guardians 2 that he's actually just being created at that point.
yeah.
He was actually cut from this movie.
Yeah, I did read that.
His appearance was cut from this movie because they'd have to make a back end for him and all that stuff, and they're like, it's already at 2 hours and 40 minutes. We can't do it.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably going to have Captain Marvel kind of maybe slide into that spot, and at least with that, they have time between now and then to give you a full movie to explain who that is.
Yeah.
Right. And she's going to have a post-credit scene, so they're gonna have that, and plus, I mean, you had Nick Fury at the end,
Yeah.
using his.
I mean, and the whole idea that her movie centers around like Ronan and Jamin Hansu from Guardians 1 are in that because this is all set in the past.
Right.
Like that definitely shows that she's probably going to have some kind of tie to the cosmic and potentially even Thanos universe. So I think she'll be able to come in with some kind of like understood knowledge of, oh, this is what's going on, and the audience will have kind of a whole movie to tie her into the current events. Whereas you wouldn't have had that for an Adam Warlock. You wouldn't have been able to make an Adam Warlock movie next.
No.
And also, Adam Warlock is the protector of the Soul Stone. I think the way they handled the Soul Stone in this, like, there's no real need for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Since we're talking about Captain Marvel and stuff and how she's going to play into it, I'm going to cut to my first part of the Mike Conspiracy Theory Power Block that I keep changing the name of every time I mention it. So, I'm going to literally just read this off my phone. That I wrote, not that I found anywhere else. So Captain Marvel, we know her movie is set in the 90s and that Nick Fury and the Skrulls are in it. Nick sends a message to himself in the past, signaling past Nick to activate Captain Marvel. Her mission will be to defeat the big bad of the film, Corvus Glaive, one of the children of Thanos, who I'm assuming is a Skrull. Defeating Corvus in the past prevents the hunt on Vision, who is pretty much fatally injured by Corvus, and Vision will be back at full power. Thanos will still get the stone, but Vision will be able to survive the blast and get the stone out with Shuri's help.
I don't think they're gonna do a future past kind of thing.
No, I think the one part that you got right is Charisse is going to bring back Vision.
Captain Marvel being set in the 90s, I think, literally, and the fact that Nick was using a beeper, I think that was a signal that he's signaling to the past. I think it's a straight-up time travel thing.
I think it's more of a signal that like she left Earth at the time that the beeper was around.
I
So what
didn't
she's
even
using it-
necessarily see it as like a beeper so much as some kind of interstellar communication
Oh, me
device.
too, but
Yeah.
still. I mean, I took it as that's a time travel thing.
If you're right, you can bring up this section of the
I mean,
podcast.
absolutely, yeah. That'll be very impressive.
But yeah, I definitely see Shuri having kind of completed her work at the last minute there, and so we're gonna get Vision back with her.
Yeah.
In Avengers 4.
Do you think his eyes stay white?
Dude, that corpse Vision.
Corpse is fucking
Ew,
gnarly.
like-
Going back to us going somewhat in time. So Thanos has the Reality Stone. We were out of nowhere. Thanos takes Gamora. Peter Quill straight up shoots Gamora, which is pretty crazy.
I mean, it's like I love because that whole sequence starts to show us how the stones work and how Thanos can kind of use them. So we get to see the bubbles, and we get to see I definitely thought that Drax and Mantis were dead in that moment when they just turn into like blocks and like spindly
Paper or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like I also love the Thanos little line. Like I like him.
It's
as
so
they,
good.
Teleport out of there.
So I'm saying the fucking writing in this movie and every little quip that they give Thanos it just builds so much character. So I forgot where we go after this, after the Reality Stone. Are we back on Earth and we're doing some stuff with...
Yeah, we probably end
This
up
is when-
back to Earth, and like General Ross is
Yeah, we get the
basically
General
saying,
Ross
hey,
thing.
where have you seen Captain America? And they all show up, and Rhodey basically says, "Peace off."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a court martial.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little intro to them going to Wakanda. I think at this point we get to the Rocket and Thor scene where Rocket's like, all right, time to be a captain. And we get that heartbreaking dialogue from Thor, just pretty much talking about how he has nothing left, which I thought was going to set up Thor dying.
I love that. Yeah, Thor
Just trying to keep it together.
Yeah.
through all of that was and like because I feel like it's probably the first time he's really putting it together, like everything he's lost. Especially because like that's the moment that we didn't get in Thor Ragnarok that I so desperately wanted, was that like everything in Thor Ragnarok, while hilarious, the reality of Thor's almost entire world is gone now.
Yeah.
He's got so little left from what we had kind of been established that like it felt like it never really hit him. So the fact that it hits him here in this movie, I was like, yes, thank you.
Yes, like we needed that. I totally agree with you that we didn't really get any of that, and especially with Loki dying and him saying you really are the worst brother, like before he dies and stuff like that, because he's handed over the Tesseract, and then just finally just seeing him break down is just that's the side of Thor I really wanted to see, and I'm glad that delivered.
It's almost immediately followed up by like one of my favorite like jokes in the movie is that Rocket's obsession with people's eyes like comes back and we get Thor with 2 eyes again.
Right.
That's so smart.
I was like,
that.
yeah.
As soon as he's holding the eyeball, I was just like laughing hysterically. I'm the only one in my theater laughing because I see what's coming. But yeah, I was like, yes, a payoff from like the first Guardians movie through now in this moment.
How happy were you when Rocket was talking to Winter Soldier?
Oh,
Like,
I'm gonna get that
Oh
arm.
my god.
oh, I'm gonna get that arm.
Yeah.
Also, I guess another quick side thing. I like that Groot is playing arcade defender other than like Space Invaders.
Yeah.
Yeah, Groot was a little bit of a dick in the beginning.
Well, he's still a teenager.
Yeah, he's an
at
emo
this
teen
point.
kid.
Like, whoa.
Like his whole like passive aggressive. I am Groot.
It's like, got some acorns there.
Yeah, Groot was the one where, especially when we got to kind of the Heart of the Dying Star forge place, where I was like, okay, like they clearly got like everybody is getting some kind of moment in this movie. So what is Groot's moment going to be? And I appreciated like the payoff for it because he was a little kind of pissy little jerk.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that he kind of sacrifices an arm or something to become the part of Thor's new axe hammer Stormbreaker.
And it's like this is like the first time Groot's like pulling away from this video game like throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's like him listening to Thor, and then even like Thor sitting next to him like at certain points, like he looks over at him and you could just see, oh, he's feeling something. I'm like, all right, sweet. And then later on,
I mean, it probably helps that Thor understands Groot.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because
I
he
think
took it as an elective.
yeah.
Going back to the trailers misleading. In the trailers, Groot is on Titan. I love that he didn't make it to Titan.
I'm glad they did some of these like quick changes or just to throw you off.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't know everything.
I guess that's more kudos to Disney because they kind of do that with Star Wars also.
Oh, they do that. Even
Yeah.
with Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like small things, like the line that that Peter has to Doctor Strange of like, oh, we're using our made up names. Okay, like even that was like a different take
Right, it's like a different
in the
take.
movie than it was in the trailer. So it was
Yeah.
still like I knew it was coming, but it was fresh in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Back to Spider-Man for a second. Shout out to Ned.
Oh yeah.
I need a distraction.
Oh God, we're all gonna
And it's like I don't even think he heard the I need a distraction.
Right,
part.
like,
He just
we're all
turned
gonna
around
die.
and, holy shit, we're all gonna die.
And a very good
Our
Stan Lee cameo.
cameo as well.
Oh my god, yes.
You've never seen a
the aliens
spaceship
invade?
So, do you guys buy into the theory that Stan Lee, like his character in these Marvel movies, is like a watcher and there's like all-knowing being that's just watching these events going on?
Well, he was talking to the Watchers
Yeah.
and Guardians too.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. I think
I
that was a
think-
great kind of fan theory that I think they're kind of subtly
Leaning
making
into.
canon.
I mean, that's also one way to like immortalize Stan Lee into the Marvel universe. If you want to be honest, like if he ever passed away, you can always have him in there.
I have a weird feeling that either this one or Avengers 4 is going to be Stan Lee's last ones.
I feel like Avengers 4.
Yeah.
I
have
know
a
they've
feeling it's-
they've already kind of pre-shot a lot of them. For
True.
him.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't know how far out, but
Well,
Did you see like any of like the promotional like photos, like them at the red carpet or whatever?
Yeah.
It's like you see Stan Lee in like a.
dude, I don't even want to talk about it.
I know. It brought tears to my eyes just looking. I'm like, no.
So we get to the Gamora, Nebula, Thanos stuff, which I think is Nebula's introduction is again terrifying. Of her
Yeah.
just ripped apart and getting tortured, and then spills the beans on the Soul Stone. I do like how they handled the Soul Stone. I thought that was gonna be really messy in this movie since we didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, because at the first mention of the Soul Stone, when Thor's on the ship, Gamora knows about it.
Yeah, she gives him
Yeah.
a look. She mentions like she has a secret that Thanos can't know. And I know it doesn't immediately happen, but we go to that planet and we get our boy back, Mr. Red Skull, Mr. Dementor.
So, what happened to him? So, he got teleported.
Yeah.
I always thought he wasn't dead because, it looked like he just teleported from his ship at the end of Captain America 1. But, what changes went through him to make him become, this Grim Reaper-esque?
He's stuck there.
But, is, his soul stuck there, too? He just can't leave the planet?
It's probably just Nazi remorse. Just on a planet alone. Damn, I did some really fucked up things.
I mean, yeah, I think he basically became he got summoned there, I think, at least, what I took away from the movie is he got summoned there and he basically is forced to be there and the Watcher and the Keeper of the Soul Stone. And I don't know if the stone talks to him or something like that, but he just knows suddenly that who's going to come for it and right. the history and future of that planet.
Yeah.
It was a hey, we need somebody there to introduce the idea behind this and the sacrifice that Thanos is going to have to make. And hey, let's use Red Skull for that because that's a question that we can answer.
Yeah. And he does have that line where he says, "I've been cursed." So you assume something's going on. And then, we get the fantastic scene between Gamora and Thanos, which that was the one death I did not expect or I did not see coming at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I thought it was way too soon to kill off any of the Guardians. And again, just playing with the stakes in this movie, nobody is safe.
And so with this death, do you think she has a chance of coming back?
Like I said before, I think everybody that died before the dusting that we saw is dead.
I agree with that, except to the point where I feel like Gamora's soul, because in the comic there's a place called Soul World that's inside the Soul Stone.
Right.
And, right after Thanos uses all the stones at once, he's in this, ethereal-looking place and sees young Gamora. And I'm wondering if that's kind of that is Soul World. So I'm wondering if actually she's tied to the Soul Stone because she was the sacrifice for it. So maybe that is a way to bring her back, even though she had one of the hard deaths in the movie.
True. Yeah. Even as little girl Gamora, she does say something like, "What did you do, or did you succeed?" And she seems very
And what
nervous
did it
about
cost?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good point.
What did it cost? Everything.
Yeah.
I could see, in the same way that I could see Cap and Iron Man kind of sacrificing to bring people back, I see Nebula here making a sacrifice to bring Gamora back in the end of the next film or something. So I don't think she's definitely gone. I think the chances of her coming back probably less so, but it also seems like it's going to be a weird Guardians of the Galaxy kind of movie if you don't have Star-Lord and Gamora.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially because we're just seeing that relationship really manifest.
They're not playing around anymore.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
Followed by that great sequence of Drax thinking he's invisible.
Oh my god, yes.
God.
I forgot about that.
Hi, Drax. Yeah.
How long have you been standing there? An hour.
Hour. Yeah. Just slowly moving.
And again, just fucking
Invisible.
digging these jokes to the fucking grave. Just staying on that for way too long. Having him, the one shot of just him slowly putting the cookie or whatever to his mouth.
Yeah. So I used to do theater, and one of the things that we did when I was in college was this idea of slow motion crossing, and it was you walk a path and then you go back and you rewalk that path over the course of 3 hours or something like that, and in an obscene just kind of meditative trance state. I hated it because it was super avant-garde stuff, but people really ate it up. And so as soon as Drax starts slowly bringing the thing up, I was like, oh my god, I'm having terrible flashbacks.
I mean, after that, it's I'm jumping around a lot because I can't fucking remember the order, but
Basically, we're getting into the
big
parts
fight.
now.
Yeah, Thor gets Stormbreaker. I totally forgot Peter Dinklage was in this movie until he popped up.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, I forgot. They were keeping it kind of low key.
He's on the poster. His name was on the
Right.
poster, sir. Right. So everybody's is he one of the is he the voice of one of the children? Or?
Yeah.
Like that was another one that in my screening, like everybody erupted at the reveal of him.
Yeah.
So that was a good little casting moment.
Yeah, now we're just getting to like the end stuff. The Titan fight scene is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Where it's just Thanos and them. I thought it was brilliant.
The way they fought like together in a way, but have so many different styles, works so perfectly.
Dude,
Like,
friggin'
it just flowed
Quill
well.
strapping the bomb on his back and
And-
then giving him the finger.
Oh,
That was my favorite, one of my favorite moments of the movie.
that's such a Quill moment, and it was pulled off very well.
Giving the finger while going through one of Strange's portals.
Yeah.
Like I loved how Strange's power was used in that whole sequence, kind of having people pop in and out, like ridiculously well choreographed.
And Star-Lord like jumping on his fields there, like
Yeah.
him just jumping on that, just leading up to placing the bomb was so cool. But I think my favorite part out of that whole entire fight scene was Strange versus Thanos. Like
That was
that
awesome.
just
Before we get
awesome.
to that, because that's kind of like the climax of it, back to Strange making the portals and stuff. I love Spider-Man's use of it, where he's calling out.
Oh yeah,
Dude, yeah, he's yelling out
Magical
moves.
kicks.
And
Yeah.
stuff. It brought me back to the arcade games because he always does that in the arcade game.
And that goes, I think, back to the idea earlier of like everybody kind of feels like they're in their own movie. Like he was doing that in Spider-Man: Homecoming too, especially as he's like trying to keep the ship together. He's like web grenade,
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think that was another kind of element of like really tying in kind of all the different voices of the different movies together into this
Yeah.
one.
And we didn't talk about the Iron Spider reveal, which was fucking awesome. Like the legs.
Oh yeah, I mean that like everything about that, like that Stark kind of calls it up to him, and we just see the like as soon as he was like 17A, like go, I was like, oh, this is going to be Spider-Man's suit.
Yeah.
'Cause, like
Yeah.
I'm realizing in that moment, oh, I've seen him in the Iron Spider suit on the
Right.
ship here, so I think we're going to get like that. But yeah, it was like everything about that was awesome.
Yeah.
Both his suit and Tony's new suit, like I loved kind of how they both had a whole bunch of fun new gadgets that you were like they didn't need like explanation or anything.
No.
It was just like, okay, like I'm
Nanomachines.
just gonna go with it. These things happen because Tony's insanely genius.
When Tony suits up for the first time, I had chills.
that nanotechnology just looks so smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, so the only thing I got spoiled for this movie going into it, I saw a toy of Iron Spider. I knew Iron Spider was in it, but I got the legs, the back arms or whatever spoiled for me.
Oh.
But I mean, I figured it was coming, so it's whatever. But that would have been a cool reveal for me. But it's okay.
Yeah, like
I felt
think
like
it
that
was-
got spoiled more in like I saw that as part of an Iron Man element of his costume.
Yeah,
Which I'm trying to think like if because he had like certain things like that, just like extensions and stuff popping in and out of his suit, but I don't remember him having the spider element now.
yeah. So yeah, the fight scene's happening. The Strange fight, Strange versus Thanos. How it starts out so methodically and so slowly with just a conversation. Shouting out the score again, we get the little harpsichord thing, which triggers Strange like cloning himself, which is awesome.
See, when he did that, I thought he was using the time stone.
You see, he does I forgot what they call it, but like the mirror world,
Dormammu's,
yeah, like the dark magic world or whatever. He pushes
Yeah.
it into Thanos, and that kind of like helps him split into multiple Stranges. Strange Eye.
didn't do a damn thing though.
They looked really freaking cool.
That's all
they
that matters.
needed.
It was fucking rad.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And then Thanos is like, whatever.
Yeah,
Power
and-
stone.
I love when he closes his hand and you can see like which stone like he's using, and sometimes you'll see more than one glow.
production kudos to them. I do like that they just showed off like the different glowing ones. Like that was smart to call it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, we keep fighting, and then we eventually get Thanos like down with the help of Mantis and everybody like pulling him back and stuff, and they're trying to get the glove off, and then we get that awesome moment where you see coming as soon as Quill walks up to him. And like, tell me what you did with Gamora, and Thanos being like, I had no choice.
Yeah.
And broke my heart.
And then Nebula knew like instantly.
Yeah.
And just, I really like Nebula like showing more emotion.
Yeah, no, she's like
in this,
definitely part of the team now, which is nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely post Guardians 2 Nebula.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
really well done with all the acting, especially just showing so much emotions,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the anger, the sadness, hate, everything.
And then piggybacking off the acting, soon after this, we get Thanos straight up stabbing Tony
Yep.
and beating the ever-living shit out of Tony. I was like, oh, this is it. It's happening.
His suit's not coming back. It's like part of it's coming back, but it's not all coming back. And then he's just getting punched right off. And I'm like, oh, he's going to die.
That would have been perfect, and like the movie would have ended so differently.
Oh, yeah.
Even if like all the events still transpired, but like your entire mood would have been just completely shifted if he had died right there.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let's get to it. So, I mean, yeah, we get the Titan fight, and then we get to, I think at the same time, the Wakanda fight's happening. The Wakanda fight is really cool. One of my favorite lines in that fight scene, I am Groot, I am Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. That was, again, like, so many of these little small moments where the characters come together, albeit briefly, like, you get just enough of them.
Oh, yes.
That it, like, every one of those little, like, crossover moments that we've been waiting for years to see was just a little
Pitch perfect.
And totally pays off.
bit.
Yeah. It does.
And we mentioned it earlier,
Like-
but the Bucky and Rocket scene, where like, how much you want for the arm?
They pull it off very, very well. Do we want to move into the next part?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's just get into
Okay.
the death
'Cause-
list.
Yeah. So by this time, the children of Thanos done, and so
Yep.
Vision's out there, and this is the moment I always wanted. They're fighting Thanos. Everyone's giving it all they got, and then Scarlet Witch is trying to destroy the Mind Stone and basically kill Vision at the same time. And I was like thinking, oh no, she's not going to destroy it. And I thought that Thanos was just going to get up there and push her out of the way like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
same.
grab Vision. But instead, it actually destroys. She actually destroys the Mind Stone, destroys Vision.
And not to interrupt, but again, kudos to the relationship building. Like, you see the emotion in her
Yes.
face, like, that she's not okay doing this, which
exactly
really worked for me.
Like that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And then I forget what he says to her. Or basically saying, "I know how you feel."
Yeah.
And then just reverting the time back and grabbing Vision and ripping that stone out of his
And
head.
Vision having to relive his death.
And then like, yeah, can we talk about this?
Exactly.
Like, Vision had to die twice.
twice.
I have a feeling the Russo brothers knew that everybody assumed that Vision was going to die. So, like, you know what? Let's do it twice.
This is the moment I've always wanted, because I was afraid that Marvel wasn't going to give us that many deaths or just give us little deaths. Like, this is the one I wanted. I'm like, if he wants that stone, I want him to have all stones by the end of this movie. And I want him to rip it out of Vision's head. And I got that. And then I felt really bad wanting that.
Yeah, man.
But I'm glad it happened.
What do you have against Vision? Damn.
Nothing. I just wanted to show how strong Thanos is. Well,
Well, I mean, we got that in the first few seconds with him going toe to toe with Hulk, but you want him to tear that out of his face.
To be fair, I wanted this since they started showing previews, but I didn't think we were going to get like showing Thanos how strong he is in the first.
No,
5
I
minutes.
honestly didn't think they were going to pull most of the punches that actually came from the comic
Right.
books.
Oh, yeah.
When he finally snapped his fingers, I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I actually said that in the theaters and I was by myself.
And just white.
Yeah, when it went to white, I thought that's how they were going to end the movie. I'm like, don't do that.
I thought so, too. I thought that would have been a really cheap cliffhanger. We did get somewhat of a cliffhanger, but I thought it was smart.
Speaking on Vision, I think that's one death. Even like if other people can come back, I feel like Vision is dead. Like, they killed him twice.
Yeah, just drive it home.
I feel like they wouldn't have put so much time into trying to recreate the stone to not have that come back into play. Mm-hmm. So I feel I think he's coming back in the next movie. I don't know to what purpose,
I don't
but
want him to. Like, I agree with you. Like, they definitely wouldn't have spent that much time. There was all the other side of it where, like, they are trying to save him and everything, and then he's the only person when this entire universe has died twice. It's like, I feel like if they do bring him back, it's just going to belittle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, he also had all that work up with Charisse knowing how to have him be Vision without the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm.
I was
So
I was terrified that Shuri was going to die also.
Oh, they would have had a riot.
When
if
Corvus
she died.
busts into her lab and she just gets like knocked out onto the floor, I thought he was going to go back and just throw her out the window or something.
Right.
I was so happy they didn't.
I know.
But then, and then we get to this.
So then we get to the
right
thing
after the white.
So we got two kind of questions. I'm Justin and Caesar. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna butcher your last names. I know you both personally. I never asked for your last names in person. Caesar Cespedes and Justin Abeles, maybe.
Nailed it.
Sure, nailed it. So Caesar says, do you think any one of the Ashed heroes will remain gone? And Justin texted me earlier. He says, you guys should do people who turn to Ash versus who could really be dead versus ones that have to come back. So off memory, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm
I
missing
actually
anybody.
have a list here.
So for Ashed/Dusting, whatever the hell you want to call it, the happening, Bucky, Spider-Man, Panther, Groot, Falcon, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, Mantis, Drax, Nick Fury, Maria Hill. Pre-Ash death, so ones that we actually saw get murdered. Heimdall, Loki, Gamora, Vision.
And the Collector.
And the Collector, sorry, yes. And then still alive, Cap, Tony, Widow, Hulk, Nebula, Rocket, War Machine, okay. And then I have another section, questionable, just because we don't see it, I don't think. I don't know about Shuri. I don't know about Baku. And then I just wrote Hawkeye, Ant-Man, and Wasp also, just to throw them in the mix.
Yeah, that's true. We don't know anything about them.
Didn't they show Baku? Yeah, they showed Baku in the field.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he didn't
They
disappear.
did.
No.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Okoye and Baku are still
Okay.
alive.
Yeah.
I think also kind of questionable. You have Valkyrie and Korg.
True.
Are
Meek.
they on that list? Who else was on there? Oh, Wong.
Right.
We don't know if he survived in the Sanctum.
What about the actress who couldn't, because of scheduling conflicts, but she couldn't do Thor Ragnarok? I forget the character name.
Lady Sif.
Yeah.
They've said that she was off on a mission, so in canon she's still out there somewhere, potentially.
All right.
I was going to say Natalie Portman.
No, she's gone, man.
No, she's gone.
Very dead. It's like any actor who doesn't want to come back. Oh, no, they died in the dusting. That's it. The question, who could really be dead, I still stand by that all the pre-ashed people are dead. But...
Save for... I agree with that, except for Gamora, just because this
right,
is
yeah, you brought up a good point about the whole astral plane thing.
Yeah.
I do like that theory. So one of my things I wrote down last night, playing with the Soul Stone idea. So they set up the Soul Stone that you have to make a sacrifice to obtain it. That's pretty safe to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with the original members all being alive, plus a few others, what if the original members have to sacrifice themselves to bring back everybody who got dusted? And that's the way they kill off these people who are running out of their contracts and we don't know who are coming back, like Thor, Cap, Iron Man. Just kill them off and we have a new class of Avengers.
I don't think that's how they would bring back everyone who's dusted. I feel like whoever gets the gauntlet next is going to just reverse that, because it's actually in the power to do that.
Okay.
But the Soul Stone thing is a different question, just because to get that particular stone, you had to make the sacrifice. So there is going to be the question of what do they have to sacrifice to bring her back?
The only thing I don't want to happen for this is just to revert back, and have everyone come back.
I feel like that's going to be the end of the movie. Not everyone, but everyone who was dusted.
Right. I agree. Everyone that's been turned to ash should come back.
So,
but I also don't want if Cap and Iron Man die, I don't want them coming back.
Well, no, that's I think whoever hard dies is going to hard die in the next one.
yeah, I truly think that Cap and Iron Man are hard dead the next one. With Caesar, I guess with Justin still, who have to come back. Just I guess he's implying with movie deals and whatnot. Parker is coming back. We're assuming most of the Guardians are coming back.
Black Panther.
And Panther is just a money machine, so they're going to bring him back.
Yeah.
I feel like they wouldn't have made Doctor Strange a one-off, or at least they wouldn't have teased Mordo being, a future Doctor Strange villain. So I think he'll be back too. I mean, I don't see any of them not coming back except maybe Maria Hill.
Yeah, they could
Right.
kill her off.
Because I think either Bucky or Sam are gonna pick up the mantle of Captain America.
Right.
Well, they
Yeah.
keep shouting out White
For
Wolf, so I
whatever
think
Phase 4
I think
is.
Bucky is going to become White Wolf in Panther 2, and Sam will take over Cap.
Yeah.
It's all up in the air because, granted, we don't know what the rules are with this in this movie universe.
Yeah.
I feel like, just my personal theory, that Bucky will have to take up the mantle of Captain America because, no offense to Sam, he's no superhuman. No.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he would be able to fulfill that role,
Some big shoes.
especially the way they portray him in these movies.
I mean, Bucky's not a superhuman either. He's just got a metal arm.
I thought they,
I think they
did
injected
tests
him.
on him too.
Yeah, they injected him too.
Did they? Oh, okay.
Like
I
he-
don't recall that.
Because
Yeah,
Winter
'cause-
Soldier, I thought that was part of it. Like
Oh yeah, the Winter Soldier.
they definitely did the
serum
brainwashing
from
and
Yeah.
stuff like that, but there was the serum as well.
yeah.
Yeah, there was
In the
a
Civil War.
and then they
I thought
evolved
they-
the serum.
I thought he got the serum, but they used it on other Winter Soldiers.
No, there was other subjects, but he was the successful one.
And then didn't they make it
No, I
stronger
mean, like
or
all
something like that?
all the
That's what
other
I said.
all the other subjects were successful, but Zemo killed them off.
So
yeah,
was
I didn't.
Bucky the first.
I didn't
subject?
recall them using it on Bucky in Winter or
because
I guess
that was
I'm thinking-
Civil
sorry,
War.
I'm thinking Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure though that he does have the serum in his bloodstream.
I think
I didn't rewatch
Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
but-
Winter Soldier. I rewatched
He got
the
the raw.
Avengers movies, but
He got the raw end of the serum then, because he definitely did not get those Steve Rogers biceps or abs.
well, he's able to go toe to toe with him, but he definitely lost an arm there.
Yeah.
And he's not losing his hair.
Ouch.
Hey, I could say that.
So, what do you guys think will Thanos do next? Like,
Oh, we already know. He's
alright.
chilling on the farm. That's it.
He's
Job
no,
done.
like, so do you think
He's gonna let the fight come to him.
he's gonna sit there for 5 minutes, be like, "This sucks," and wants to
No, I think he's
because in his mindset, he accomplished
yeah,
what he set out to do.
he's set. He's done. His mission is accomplished. He's living his life now. He's not this massive tyrant that's gonna just take over half the population or whatever that's left over. He literally just wanted peace and quiet, and that's what he got.
Yeah.
I think eventually whoever's left over, they'll figure out with the help of Nebula and stuff, they'll figure out where they have to go to get Thanos, and they'll take the fight to him or try to figure out how to bring
Yeah.
everybody back first.
Yeah, I'm curious about that because in the comic book, Nebula got the gauntlet next, and it was too much for her to handle.
Yeah, I'm assuming the plan is to get the gauntlet next. It's gonna be a long year. That's what I do.
I'm
know.
excited though, and so we have 2 movies in between:
Yeah, so next is
Yeah,
Ant-Man and
okay.
Wasp, and then Captain Marvel.
Ant-Man and Wasp in July, and then Captain Marvel in March.
March.
yeah, and they're both prequel.
Yeah, no, those
Before.
are definitely taking time. Ant-Man right after Civil War,
Yeah,
and
for
Captain
sure.
Marvel in the '90s before everything else.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend, I guess, last night after the movie, and he was arguing that Ant-Man was going to take place after this. I'm like, I don't think they're going to really care about people robbing banks and stuff if half the
Yeah.
population is gone. So,
Of all the movies to deal with the aftermath of this movie,
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is not it.
I mean, it's like you just watched the most depressing thing to happen to the universe. Let's have a super lighthearted heist movie.
They're like, no one's gonna stop us. Oh, we forgot about Ant-Man and Wasp.
And then let's
Man.
like it's not even the stinger of the movie; it's just the end of Ant-Man and Wasp, where
Yeah.
they just disappear and oh fuck, that movie ended dark.
yeah, first 5 minutes, they were just gone.
This next Avengers film, I think it's gonna be a good one because it's almost like the original Avengers.
It is,
They're gonna
and
team
when I was in
up.
my car writing up figuring out who was left alive, I'm like, oh shit, all the original
Yeah.
Avengers are still there.
Which is nice because Kevin Feige said that this next movie is going to be the finale of this first half, I guess you could say, or this first series of films.
no, it's gonna be great.
I mean, we'll talk about this in a year when the next movie comes out, but what do you guys think the next big bad is going to be? I have a hope and a dream, but I want to hear you guys first. Who's going to be the next Thanos?
my hope even though Kevin Feige is kind of saying like nothing's been set in concrete or anything, even though like there was the thing saying that like the next X-Men movie or whatever is going to be the last one from that.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we own Fox,
my hope is that after the set of announced Marvel movies, is that maybe we're getting into not necessarily the Ultimate Universe, but a different set for the Marvel Universe, where now everything is basically a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, I don't want a rehash of Captain America and Iron Man already, but I definitely want to see, because it'd be awkward if like, oh, now like, oh, there's always been mutants here. Like, how oblivious are you guys?
They probably will have to kind of reboot the whole X-Men thing just for it to make sense in this universe. Because that's like, how do you...
Well,
granted, we don't know if
it's
she's
rebooting
alive.
the X-Men, but also the Marvel movies. Because
totally.
you have this huge established universe that every movie is connected to one another. But now that they do have access to these different properties, and
it would be cheap, but this event could... It doesn't make sense right now, but they could spin it to be the excuse that mutants just popped up.
right.
It could be a consequence of whatever Thanos did.
So yeah, my hope is that like we actually do kind of get a new, like, let's end, this universe with the people that actually started this out with, and then move into a new age of the MCU.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're not getting Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine,
No.
so I mean,
No.
like, we might as well just start fresh.
unless they have a real time stone and we go back in time and bring back young Hugh Jackman out, it's not going to
I
happen.
will say the one thing I always wanted from Iron Man in all these movies, as someone who played Marvel's Capcom 2 all the time, I always wanted him to say photon cannon.
Yeah.
Still hasn't happened. Still holding out.
Trevor, what do you want from the future of the MCU?
I mean, so I don't know the comic world all that much. I just have been very much along for the ride. So, the going to what I know would be like a similar X-Men crossover, trying to figure out a way to kind of fold that universe in as a battlegrounds for the next bit. So yeah, I just don't know who else is out there that are the big bads. Maybe maybe in a similar vein like a Doctor Doom, because they'll also be getting Fantastic Four coming over. So yeah, those are I'm basically going with the ones I can think of and the ones I know.
So yeah, the whole Fox thing is weird. I don't think it's like totally set in stone yet. I think it's close, but they keep announcing movies.
Well, the buy was, but they're still figuring out
The rights.
who has the rights. Yeah,
Right.
Because we do have a Doctor Doom movie in the works by Nola Hawley, who does Legion, which I'm very excited about because I love that man so much and everything that he touches. I think he could kill a Doctor Doom movie. And we do have a Silver Surfer movie in the works by Brian K. Vaughan.
I love that dude.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see how that ends up. I don't know. Jake, what do you think?
I know it's going to take a long time, especially with this whole Fox deal. But we can get there. We can finally get Galactus.
So that was mine also.
Right, not just like a storm cloud in
Exactly.
the second Fantastic Four movie.
God, no, that's not even, no.
But that was another thing in the original Infinity Gauntlet comic. Galactus and all these other huge universe fucking beings went up against Thanos when he has the Infinity Gauntlet and got fucking slapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just
But unfortunately, we're not going to see that.
Well, yeah, just to piggyback off Jake, that's my hope and dream that we build up. These rights go through and everything's cleared up and we start building towards Galactus. But
Because I would love I know I'm really happy we got Infinity War. I'm really happy that we got it. But I want a true Infinity War where it's like we have everyone in there.
Right, and that's
How
why
it
I'm
would
saying,
work on a movie, I don't know.
Like, we
But-
would actually have to need a full reboot.
and another hope and dream, just a random movie that I would love, is Avengers vs. X-Men.
Yeah.
I hated that comic book
Yeah.
crossover.
I just want to see that on picture.
Cyclops was a douche in that
Dude, fucking huge douche.
one. Like, I had to
Which-
stop
oh,
reading
wait,
it 'cause
by the
I
way.
got so mad about him.
When he calls him a douchebag in the movie.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
See, yeah, it was, but then the whole anytime when Strange was being like snarky and a douche to Tony Stark, I was like, have you completely forgotten what a douchebag you were? You remember
That's true, yeah.
Oh my god,
But then,
like, huge. I'm like,
it does play into the idea that similar to like Vision having relived that death, like Doctor Strange had to relive hundreds, if not thousands, of deaths against Dormammu. So, like, maybe a shit ton of time did pass by, and he has forgotten how douchey he used to be.
What was it? 15,502,000,000 or whatever the number was of futures he looked into. So how many times did he have to see himself die?
Yeah.
I do want to say, it's like final thoughts for this whole entire movie. I am finally glad we got a Marvel movie that felt like they're defeated. Like,
Oh, this is Empire Strikes Back.
yeah, exactly. This is Empire Strikes Back. But the problem is, it's like at the end of Empire Strikes Back, you see them together, and there's like a glimmer of hope.
Right,
don't
and now
see
like we
that
have like
here.
7 people, one of whom like we still haven't seen on screen. We're getting a movie next year, so we have no idea if any of the like Thanos just took out so many of these people.
Yeah.
Like how are like
It's fun
Yeah.
theorizing everything, but we don't know what the fuck the rules are, like I said earlier. But like, just a closing thought, kudos to Marvel for starting something 10 years ago and building up to this moment, movie by movie, 18 or 19 times, and totally knocking it out of the park. This is something that could have been fucked up so easily. And like, I mean, we've seen it with like Justice League and stuff. Granted, Justice League wasn't on the scale, but
we haven't seen it anywhere near that scale, but we have seen like some Marvel movies weren't as amazing
oh yeah,
as the other
like
ones.
Dark World and stuff like
So
that.
there
but-
has been like there has been those moments of like I don't know where they're going with this, and then then we get Thor Ragnarok. We're like, oh fuck, I want more Thor movies now.
Yeah.
So I guess like my closing thoughts, like I touch on a little, like I walked out of the theater and I wasn't even thinking a damn thing. I wasn't saying anything.
No.
Like I was just walking out of there, got in my car, I'm like, huh. Like I absolutely loved the movie, but for some reason, like like you see a movie and like you almost have like a different look on like colors and lights and stuff, just depending on what movie you're seeing or anything. Like your vision has changed almost.
Yeah, vision
but
changed.
Like, I
He's
walked
dead.
out and everything was like almost like I hyper realized putting all this together. Like fuck, I did not think they were gonna do it. Just because of all these big name stars and everything, I did not think they were gonna do the happening to all these people.
Yeah.
But huge props to the Russo brothers and everyone
Seriously.
involved in this movie. Like that was amazing. Like I'm seeing it again tomorrow with Al, and I haven't told her a damn thing. I haven't given her a single reaction to this movie because I want her to go in fresh.
Yeah. I told Rachel to get out of here because I had my notes up for the movie. I'm like, I don't want anything spoiled for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my big things. Like especially as the movie was winding down, was like, God, this movie is like ends on such a down note. I start going through like, are they going to do as well as like other previous Marvel movies, or are a lot of people just going to be like, I don't want to sit through that again because it's just going to be such an emotional toll. I'm definitely going to,
yeah.
and potentially. I'll like there are a couple late night screenings here that just talking about it, I might be like, yeah, I'm just going to go see it again tonight after we record. But yeah, I've already got another ticket for Sunday, so I'm definitely seeing it some other time this weekend.
Right.
But yeah, it's one of those where I'm like, what was it, like Black Panther I saw like 3 times opening weekend because it was just like fun to exist in that world, and this one it's like, they're like, this will take a toll seeing it multiple times, and that's how so many of these movies are breaking billions of dollars in sales, is because people are excited to go see it again. Where it's like, I think people will be super excited to go see Avengers 2 or 4 next year multiple times because it will be kind of the catharsis and the payoff of all the devastation that we see in this one. But yeah, I'm like especially again when like the dusting started to happen, I was like, oh man, like a whole bunch of people that are seeing this right now are not going to come back and want to sit through this again because it's so sad.
I guess that just reminded me of another point with the dusting. I like that you come back from the snap and you don't know what's happening. Like everybody's just like, whoa, what the hell just happened? And nothing happens for a solid, like, I don't know, like 30 seconds to a minute. And then you see Bucky start to fade. and then it just downhill from there. I love that. And then fast forwarding to the actual ending credits, it's not this like colorful, crazy, usual Marvel beautiful title sequence. It's just black screen, plain white text, no mid-credit scene. I kind of thought they weren't going to do a post-credit scene, and I kind of wanted them not to. But granted, they have to tease Captain Marvel a little bit. I get that, but I don't know. Like, a part of me didn't want the post-credit scene.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, they didn't have a mid-credit scene. I like, because it was like, how do you pull out of like that downer of an ending with like some little quip for the next. So I love the post-credit scene really showing like how wide-reaching this devastation is, and because I don't think we're gonna really live with like, you know, half the world is burning because planes were in the air and pilots disappeared and everything crashed and all that stuff. But seeing just the little glimpse of it we got here, I think is enough to really show kind of other potential ramifications of it. Because, I mean, like, you could go into a whole side story of, like, people thinking that this was the end of days and you know, people have been called up and revelations happening and everything like that. But we're, like, that's not going to be the focus of Avengers 4. The focus is going to be, like, let's stop and undo this as quickly as we can. But, like, I just loved that, the little bit of a tease we did get. Even if you had taken out like the Captain Marvel bit at the end there, like it still would have been a satisfying, in a weird way, end credits thing, because it showed the human cost of this.
Yeah, and just speaking of ending on a downer for the actual film, that post credit scene ended on a true fucking downer. Like seeing all these real people without powers or anything, just normal people just going day by day, and all of a sudden
all right, so first off, like so after we did come back from the white, like just from reading the comic books, I'm like, oh fuck, that's just about to happen, even though it's different in the movie, because like when he snaps his finger in the comic book, like there's like a shockwave almost, and like there's tidal waves and stuff like that on Earth, but I'm kind of glad they didn't go for that. Also saved them a lot of money not having to do that. But when the post-credit scenes happen and like you start to they start to realize that people are fading away, and then Fury's running to get to the back of the car.
Oh my god!
And he just pushes the dude out of the way.
And
like dude just vaporized next to him, and he's just like, "Get the fuck out of my way!"
And we finally get Sam Jackson saying "motherfucker," kind of.
A couple people in my theater were laughing about that. I was like, oh, that's great.
Cool. I think that's a good note to end on.
So
overall, we all hated this fucking movie.
Would this be one of your favorite Marvel movies, or?
It's hard to say right now because I'm so high in it right now, seeing it yesterday. I do want to take a breather on it, but right now, I mean, it's hard to say it's not.
Yeah, having just seen it earlier today, like I'm still, almost, lack of a better term, high off of it. I'd still like, even like coming off that, I would probably still say Guardians 2, but everything that did happen in this movie had such a monumental payoff. Like, so many years, 18 movies went into this happening. Like, that's... like Red Skull.
Learn your lesson, DC.
Like Red Skull, like out of fucking nowhere.
Everything that I want to happen in this movie happened.
So I'm seeing it again tomorrow. I'm very excited to see it, and
it still hits you with the emotions, just so you know, after seeing it a second time.
I will say this though, like with 4 being what it is as a conclusion to all of this that we've built up to, and I think that's going to be the one I see the most over and over again in theaters.
Probably.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like the Russo brothers showed with this movie that I have every confidence that they will stick the landing with the next one. And again, going to like this is such a down movie to end on that I definitely think it is among the best of the Marvel movies, but it's not the one I'm going to go and watch until I can watch it right back to back with Avengers 4 to get the satisfying catharsis of like a more happy ending. Like, it's definitely there will still be a toll and a cost in the next movie, but I think it'll end on a much better note.
To speak to the point, like not thinking there was any credit scenes at all, and this one, I don't think there's going to be any in the part 4.
Same.
Because I
Yeah,
think like
same.
as soon as that movie ends, like that's the book end.
That's the finale.
Unless the Fox deal goes through, and then we just see Galactus.
Right.
Don't play with my emotions.
Yeah. I don't want him to go right into it though.
Yeah, no, that they need to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it'll be what Thanos was in Avengers
Yeah.
1. Like, we won't see a payoff to
right.
that for another, like, and this is one of those little things in the movie. Tony Stark says 6 years ago for when Manhattan happened, like directly contradicting what we had in Spider-Man: Homecoming of 8 years later. So I'm like, you're deliberately messing with the timeline. I'm annoyed with it. But again, so 6 years ago we got like the tease of Thanos, and it is all led up to this and the next Avengers movie. So I think you could still have like. You could have a Galactus tease, or you could still have a tease for like, here's what Phase 4 and 5 and 6 are going to build to.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Because it is a like this phase of the universe will be done next year, but they're still going to continue on. Like they've got like Kevin Feige goes out there and talks about, he's got like a 10-year roadmap on his like office wall.
Oh, yeah.
Of like,
Yeah.
these are the ideas we're going to play with. So you don't. Like the movie will end, but there will still be a here's what's next.
The cinematic universe will not end. So yeah, thank you everybody for listening. That's a wrap on another episode of Three Best Friends. Do you want to gush about Infinity War? Hit us up. You can reach us at the email 3bestfriendspodcast@gmail.com or on Twitter and Instagram at 3BFpodcast. If it contains spoilers, don't publicly tweet or comment or anything. Email us, DM us, please. Like, don't spoil this movie for anybody. Please follow those accounts. You can sub on YouTube, Apple, and Google Play. We post every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern on those platforms. I want to give a huge thank you to Trevor for coming on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, huge shout out, man.
Thank you for answering my call, because last night after I did like the half-hour drive home, just like sitting with this, I was like, I need to talk to somebody about this movie, and I have nobody locally here that like I can just go out and do. So I put out the call on Twitter, and thank you, Mike, for taking me up on it, and inviting me on.
Hey,
And
welcome anytime.
Trevor, if you want to let people know how to get hold of you and what you do.
Yeah, you can follow me at Snarky Starkey on Twitter. I'm in terms of like other things to plug. I'm about to wrap up kind of a years-long project of putting out daily videos every day, which you can kind of find on my YouTube at Snarky Starkey or through my website trevortrove.com. And then I'll be doing like a little bit kind of going on from that, but the other kind of main project I have on the regular is my West Wing watch-along podcast, which you can follow at West Winging It on Twitter, where me and Logan Wilkinson and Quentin Hoffman from Irrational Passions just go through episodes of The West Wing and talk about how it plays in today's Trumpian era.
That sounds
I
amazing.
love that so much.
It's a lot of fun.
Jake, where can we find you?
Jake P47, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. Drop that follow on Twitch. On the road to Twitch affiliate.
And I believe we're broadcasting, our actual Twitch is broadcasting Jake's live streams.
Yeah. I haven't set it up yet, but
Oh,
down the
By
road
the
I
time
will.
you hear
Fake
this,
news.
maybe. Matt, where can people find you?
you can find me at Shibs42 on Twitter and Instagram. I'm not too vocal on there, but if you hit me up, I will respond.
Cool. And I am Tdro1214 on everywhere. Yeah. And usually one of my other hosts says hit this music, so I'm just going to hit the music. Bye, guys.